Hey guys, what's up? So today is just going to be a really quick video to show you how to go about writing a post on your WordPress dashboard. So you should have your WordPress dashboard loaded up. We're going to just hover over posts here, and posts is basically where all of your blog posts are going to be on your dashboard. Now you've got a couple of things when you want to write anything new. Posts, you've got all posts, which if you click on it will show you all of your existing blog posts. Add new will create a new post, and categories and tags are categories we can add, which will be a breakdown of your niche. So for my blog, for example, one of my categories is travel, and if I write a travel post, I'll put it under that category. But for now, we're just going to go onto all posts. So to write a blog post is really simple. You've got existing posts that you've got here. I haven't really got any on this site here. So if you want to add a new post, you just hit add new up the top here. In here you can see the author, who wrote it, the name of the post, which category it's currently under, if you've put any tags on it, which is little search terms that you can put on. So if somebody searches on your website for, say, travel guide, you could have tagged one of your posts with travel guide and it will come up. Any comments and the date that you last modified it. So all you want to do is go to the top and hit add new. This is then going to launch your WordPress post editor. So there's a couple of things in here. So at the top is your new post, so that's going to be your heading. So we're going to write this example post here, how to write a blog post. Now you'll notice that I capitalized certain points of this. So to and A I left empty, and the rest I capitalized. Now there's a website that you can use if you ever want to capitalize your titles properly. Now, because I write every day for my job, I do it automatically. But this website's called Capitalize My Title, this one here. So what you can do is, if you, for example, wrote it all lowercase, how to write a blog post, what you could do is you could copy it into the title capitalization website, paste it in there, and it will go in as sentence case, but it'll change the title case, which will capitalize it in the important places. So basically, when you write a piece of content into here, it's going to capitalize the important letters for you. So you can see that there. So that heading looks a lot more engaging than that one. So that's why we want to do title case. So all you do then is you copy that and you take it back into your WordPress blog post editor and you can put it into there. But for now we're going to do how to write a blog post. Now once you're in your main body of your text, which is down here, once you've entered your blog post there, you'll see this permalink come up underneath here, and it will create a URL for you. So your website name.com / how to write a blog post. So you can change this if you just want it to be called blog post, something like that. But you can put keywords in for your post down here. Now this main body here, this is where you're going to write the body of your content. And if we go lower, you guys remember when we installed Yoast, this is the chance you have to put in your keywords. So focus keyword for this one is write a blog post. And then it will give you advice and improvements. So keyword appears in the first paragraph, it's a nice length, and here you can edit the snippet. So you can edit the URL under the slug, you can change the title, you can modify the description. If you don't do anything, it's going to automatically put in what the title is followed by the website name, but it's sometimes nice to edit that. Now for writing your post itself, I'm going to go into detail about how to write a blog post in the next couple of days. We're going to talk about a few different aspects of the bootcamp. So we've got, I'll just show you now the days that we've got. We've got your first 5 blog posts, which is today. Tomorrow we're doing about writing for your audience. Day 10 is how to craft stories. Laying out your blog is day 11. So we're going to go through these different aspects as we go through the days about how to set up your blog posts in the right way. But for now, I really want you to just get started. So how would you lay out a blog post? So briefly for now, you want to do an introduction. So what does your blog post contain? To give you guidance, an introduction usually wants to be around about 100 to 150 words. Sometimes more, sometimes less. It just depends on a particular post. Then what you want to do is you want to have your first heading. Now, for SEO purposes, you have the option of doing a heading 1, but you should only ever have one heading 1 per page on your WordPress site. And your title is actually classed as a heading 1. What that does and what heading 1 means is that's saying to Google, heading 1 means this is the most important aspect of the page, this is what it's about. So if you have two of those and they say something different, Google's confused about what the website is about. So that's why you only ever have one heading 1, and it's automatically in your title, so you don't need to do a heading 1. So after you've written your introduction, you want to have your first heading, and we're going to make it a heading 2. So what is a blog post? Could be your heading. So you would write a few sentences or paragraphs on that topic, and then after you've written that heading, you'll go to your next heading. The top 7 ways to write a blog post. So that might be my next heading, heading 2 again. Now, if you're going to do a top post, you can sometimes do a big heading followed by smaller headings. So for example, I'll outline some of the best ways to keep people reading. So you might do a small intro between the headings, and then you might do your first heading, which is number 1, top 7 ways to write a blog post to keep your audience engaged, tell a story. Now we don't want it as a numbered list, so as soon as you put 1 in, it's going to put it as a numbered list. So we want to make this, instead of a heading 2, you can make it a heading 3. So it's a subheading then. And our first subheading is about telling a story. Now what you might want to do is actually write out all of your headings first. And then in between those, you can write the content. And actually filling out your headings first and writing your intro is a really good way to lay out your blog post, because otherwise what can happen is if you just have a blank page and you just start writing, you can just ramble. You know, blank pages leave you rambling. And you don't have any structure. And you can sit there and you can write for hours, and then you look back and you think, bloody hell, have I even answered the question of what the blog post is? And later on in the challenge, we'll talk about looking after your audience and how to write for your audience. But the first step is to think about, what is this blog post actually answering? What's the question? So instead of how to write a blog post, this one, a better title would be the heading we had there. The top 7 ways to write a blog post to keep your audience engaged. And what's the question that the audience is going to be asking? You know, well, the question the audience is asking is, how do I keep my audience engaged while reading my blog post? So if you actually think about the question that you're answering before you start to write it, and even write it at the top of your blog post so you can reference it, and every time you're writing a new paragraph or a new heading, think about, is this helping to answer that question? You're going to have a much better structure to your blog post. And that's how I would go about it. So, you know, start it off, you know, you'll hopefully have tied up between some of your themes of the skyscraper method, some of the pins that you found, and your original topics you planned out in day 1, and start writing your blog posts. Now, once you have finished writing your blog post, or if you want to save halfway through, in the top right hand corner here you have save draft, preview and publish. Now we don't want to publish yet, we want to keep the blog posts unlive at the minute. So what I would periodically save. WordPress will automatically save drafts for you as well, and once it's saved, it'll say post draft updated and preview post, and you can preview the post if you want to see how it's going to look in your theme. But again, I wouldn't worry so much about the theme. If it's the default WordPress, this is what it's going to look like. There'll be these bits down the side, there'll be this up the top, a weird picture, a heading, and it's not going to look so pretty. But don't worry about that, we're going to fix all that later on. Right now, it's actually more important just to get the content down, and that's this section here. So hopefully that helps, guys. If you want to categorize it, you can add a new category on the right hand side here, and you can put in a category. Like I said, I wouldn't have too many categories, I just have a couple, maybe 3 categories to start off with, but that's going to go back to your day one stuff, and you can put tags in here as well, and you can add tags to the post. But we're going to go through a little bit more in-depth stuff later. For today, I just want you to focus on writing your post, get an introduction, do some of the headings, and start to write out your post. If you can do that, I think we'll be onto a winner. Alright guys, thanks so much, and any questions, just let me know in the Facebook group.